Why? He says he had an impulse to tell the story from the outside. We've all heard and read a lot about these people recently, how they call their bodies vehicles, how they're training themselves for the mysterious level beyond. But tonight, someone who lived in the compound talks about details of daily life. He received letters and tapes by Federal Express announcing the suicide. And those letters and tapes told him to go to the house and enter a door they were leaving unlocked for him.
When I went in there, I knew that, for one thing, it was very spooky. You know, as you can imagine, being around so many bodies that were dead. You know, the odor was overwhelming. So I had taken cologne with me and did what is known as the whaler's trick, and spray cologne over your shirt and hold it over your nose.
He told us they had purchased the phenobarbital before he left and started work on the clothes.
Those black uniforms were handmade by some of the people in the class that were seamstresses. They were made as uniforms for departure. But,
and the shoes, the Nikes?
Nikes. Well, they matched the uniform, didn't they? In fact, I had tried on shoes for the uniform.
You really knew before you left that you were leaving a potential mass suicide?
I knew that there was always that option, that they would either leave their vehicles or get picked up by spacecraft.
Did you ever think to yourself, I've got to stop them? You know, somebody was getting phenobarbital.
Yes. How can you report something that hasn't happened?
Not report, I didn't say report. But to go back to them and say, don't do this.
You need to understand that they did not identify with the vehicles. And it's not for me to say to another person that you should not do what you plan to do.
Are you still a believer? Are you a former believer?
My belief system with that class has not changed.
Rio D'Angelo is 43, and for the last 3 years, he was part of what he calls a classroom for reaching beyond human potential. He says it was a serene sanctuary, but there, among their videotapes of Star Trek and The Sound of Music, were conspiracy videos warning of the dangers of the U.S. government.
It was my understanding that the FBI was after the group.
So you identified with David Koresh and some of the militias and some of the free men?
I feel very, very disturbed when I hear people condemn them or condemn David Koresh.
It's not that we identified with them. We were aware that some people will stop at nothing to take away your sovereignty.
That's why the guns were bought?
When we were living in New Mexico, you've probably seen the pictures of the fortress that we built. We went to rifle ranges and learned how to use these weapons.
But he says eventually they put the guns away because Doe told them he had word from beyond they would not die like those at Waco in a government assault.
I'm Doe, for starters.
And what about Doe, the former Marshall Applewhite? For the first time, we learned Doe didn't really live with his followers in a mansion. He lived 15 minutes away in a posh community called Lake Hodges in a more private house with these two women, one a nurse. D'Angelo said you had to make an appointment to talk privately with him because, he claimed, he had actually been to the world beyond and come back.
The vibration was much higher than ones who had not done that before. So for him to be around ones that had such what you might call lower vibrations than his, it could be disturbing for him. So as a matter of respect and consideration for him, he would stay away from us until we would have meetings with him and talk to him.
But ironically, the man who urged detachment from the human body seemed obsessed with its functions. For instance, the group made notes for him about their use of enemas made of coffee. And occasionally he scheduled something called the Master Cleanser,
which was lemonade, cayenne pepper, and maple syrup. I think we did that for maybe 2 or 3 months at one time. And
2 or 3 months? That's all you had?
Yes. And every hour we would have to have a glass of this. The thing about it, I know it may be surprising you, but it really works. And it cleanses your vehicle very well.
And according to D'Angelo, they were equally compulsive about how they cooked, what they ate.
We were taught that everything was to be exactly perfect all the time. You need to understand that we were preparing to go into the next level. Now you can imagine that in the level of creation, everything has to be just so. So when we would be in a food preparation situation, every measurement would be exact all the time, and we had a partner to check it. So all the meals and all the recipes would always taste the same.
The individual needs department.
That's the unit in charge of supplies.
If I were to write a note to individual needs for deodorant, for example, or a toothbrush or something, I would say that I may be wrong, but it seems that my deodorant is running out. Now, the reason for that is because we have been taught to not be so confident in what we're saying to be true. For example, there may be some possibility that my deodorant isn't running out, and maybe I have the wrong deodorant stick. There's always something that I may not know that is happening.
D'Angelo insisted that no one was brainwashed, yet we noticed something throughout our interview. He had ready answers, except when we asked about his personal feelings. For instance, did he like the house they lived in?
The one in Rancho Santa Fe? That's a good question. I have to think about that. I hadn't really thought about it before.
What was the most fun you had together?
Oh, that's a good question. Boy, I'd have to think about that. I'd have to think about it. Can we come back to that?
Would you go to see a cult deprogrammer?
Would I go to see a cult? Do you think
Yes.
I'd need to?
Well, just to go and let them come back and report, no, this is not somebody.
That is pretty funny. I don't particularly see a reason for it, but, I'm certainly open to the idea. If the ones around me think that I really need to do this, then I'm certainly open to it.
D'Angelo, whose former name was Richard Ford, has a story similar to so many of the other members. A highly sensitive child, a broken home, who says he was always searching for an answer, a spiritual center. His ex-wife sent us these photos, saying her husband was very creative, but normal. Their son was about 11 when Richard Ford told him he was never coming back because
Jesus had actually come here to teach us lessons on how to get to heaven. And that I felt that I was going to learn those lessons.
I think one of the most inexplicable and perverse things to people looking from the outside is that so many of you would leave children behind and go off to do this. People say that's certifiably crazy.
Well, it's only typical not typical, it's only natural for a human to be concerned about its offspring.
But how could you do that? How could you leave your child for this?
Well, it's the most difficult thing you can do. It's the most difficult.
But why did you do it in the first place?
I felt this was something I had to do. I had to do this. It would be difficult for someone like yourself to understand, I
Why?
would imagine, because
Why?
the soul is the thing I identify with.
But I have a soul. Don't I have a soul?
Well, I'm not sure, do you?
I do.
I would hope you did.
Celibacy was a key part
Yes,
of the group.
yes. The reason for celibacy, this will help you understand, is that the level above human, some people call it the kingdom of God or heaven or something like that. Even in history books, they have said that the members of that kingdom are genderless.
Castration as a way of getting to heaven?
It's not castration in order to get to heaven. It's not it at all. It's, if you can imagine this, if you can imagine a young man's vehicle is racing with hormones, and rightfully so, it's a human vehicle. And to control that, it takes a lot of effort.
he said the surgeries took place only a year ago.
Wasn't it hard to find doctors who would do that?
Yes, it was. Actually, they think you're crazy. What they did use was that they were monks and they were part of a monastery. And it's a well-known fact that through history, monks have typically been eunuchs. Doe decided to do it to his vehicle because he was always one step ahead of us. He wanted to know all the pros and cons, whether it was a good idea or not.
We've read that his surgery was very difficult, very
Yes.
painful.
Yes, he had some problems.
I mean, he was in real physical agony,
They goofed up, they made a few mistakes, and so it didn't
even
heal.
just surgically.
Yes, surgically.
A number of people have written that all this evolved out of Mr. Applewhite's personal sexual demons.
That's not for me to say. I really don't know this Applewhite that you're talking about. All I know is Doe.
And he never spoke about any concerns of his about homosexuality or any things that had happened to him in his life.
No, because that wasn't him. That was the vehicle he was wearing.
Have you had it done?
No.
Are you castrated?
No.
Did you contemplate it? Did you think
Doesn't
about
this
it?
show you that freedom of choice is very, very prominent in this group?
So how is it Rio D'Angelo was the one member of Heaven's Gate to leave just in time, with the comet coming and Applewhite suggesting that his failing health meant it was time for him to catch the ride? D'Angelo clarified what was actually wrong with their leader, saying because of a pinched nerve, it was, well, his digestive system again.
His waste disposal system, and it wasn't working at all. And you can imagine if you can't eat, and you know, if you do eat, you can't get rid of it, then there's not long before it's not going to work at all. And we thought that his vehicle was going to throw in the towel, so to speak.
A little over a month before the suicides, D'Angelo says he told Doe he wanted to serve the group by being on the outside. The ledger shows he was handed $1,000 and $12.50 for a train ticket to L.A., where he would work as a website designer. He also had the group's official blessing for the sale of their screenplay.
This is a copy of the cover for the last version of that script effort.
All of this has raised questions about
A post-death publicity campaign for the class.
You know, I can see how people would think that, but it's a little sick to think that. This was offered to me to do, and there's not really that much money involved.
You know, when we ran the tape of you on primetime last Wednesday night,
The promo tape?
the promo tape,
Yes.
we got a call
Yes?
right away from your mother.
Is that right? That's great.
his mother said the last time she saw him 5 years ago, he gave her a parting gift, a videotape of the movie Ghost.
And,
She wants so much to talk to you and hear from you.
oh, great. Okay.
Will you?
Sure.
When?
Soon.
His mother also sent us a photo.
Oh. Yeah, that's a picture of my vehicle with my son. And,
How old is he now?
let's see, I think he's 15 now.
Is there something you'd want to say to him?
Oh, just to let him know that I still love him and this hasn't changed anything. You know, the human emotions always come out, and it's the toughest thing to control.
He is clearly a man suspended between two realities. Will he choose to re-enter the world or remain the final messenger of those who are gone?
You will not commit suicide.
Right. I promise I will not.
Still, he insists those who died did it in the service of the Father, the one who called himself Doe, and he says the unknown force in heaven.
To me, they're my heroes. They have achieved more than anybody else I've ever known.
And that I love
And I don't know why other people don't see them as heroes. I mean, think about it. Do you have something that you feel strongly enough that you would actually die for? A lot of people do.
D'Angelo, who also spoke with Newsweek magazine, said he does want to send condolences to the families of his friends. And finally, Primetime hired a consultant to listen to our interview, a renowned cult expert at UCLA, Dr. Louis West, who told us that he believes D'Angelo exhibits classic signs of cult programming, where independent thought is prohibited. But he said something in him is still Richard Ford, and may well make it back to the real world.